Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Spina Bifida Guide to Hope. My name is Leilani, and today I would like to talk about my 5 years having pain from my tethered cord. Now, this story goes back 7 years ago in 2012, and I was in 11th grade at the time. In 11th grade, I took a Pilates class in my high school instead of a regular gym class. In the beginning, for the first, I would say 2-3 months, I had no trouble with my Pilates class. I actually enjoyed doing my Pilates class and looked forward to going to that class. It was about a few months or a couple months in, and one day I was in class and I had started to have this pain, kind of like a soreness almost, like if I pulled something, like a muscle, on my lower back. So I didn't want to continue the class. Instead, I went to the nurse, and I was picked up that day by my mom and went home. And it wasn't like super horrible. It was bearable enough to where I didn't feel like it was an emergency, but it was cause for concern. So my mom ended up calling my neurosurgeon, and they scheduled an appointment. We went to that appointment, and they scheduled an MRI. Not really much was showing on the MRI. It wasn't showing that I really had a tethered cord, but from my symptoms, which I had like this pressure, soreness kind of feeling just located on my lower back. It didn't really resonate at the time anywhere else. It wasn't really cause of concern for my doctor. So they didn't want to like put me into surgery or, really put me on a pain management program. If I was able to just deal with the pain, then they would just leave it alone. So I decided that I didn't want to do a pain management, and I definitely did agree that it wasn't a good idea for me to have surgery at the time. Time went on, and for about a year, it kind of stayed the same. It was just that soreness feeling. It would kind of come and go. It wasn't like super consistent. So some days I would be okay, some days I wouldn't. What the doctors did recommend, because I did tell them I was taking Pilates in school, they didn't want me doing that anymore. So I ended up still having to go to that class, but the teacher would give me like written homework assignments and like worksheets to do in the class while everyone else kind of, did the workouts. That school year ended and a year passed, and so now I'm in 12th grade. It did get worse, and it would again come and go, but this time it was harder to deal with. When the pain did come on, it was a lot more intense. By that time in 12th grade, I was going home after like 2 classes, having to go home because I couldn't deal with the pain. And my high school was pretty big. It was a 2-floor high school, and it was, really long hallways. So, in the beginning of the year, I was going home like constantly. You're not even showing up to school because I couldn't really even deal with the pain to even go. I would just stay in bed sometimes. And by this time, it wasn't just a pressure feeling or like a soreness. It was more like someone was taking my spine and kind of like squeezing it. That's the only way I can really explain it. By I want to say a few months into my senior year, We ended up making a plan that I would only have half days. I wouldn't have a full day of school. I would have half days and then go home and, be able to recover from the half day walking around. And I also got a key to the school's elevator to use instead of using the stairs. That definitely helped a lot. Still, the pain was really, really like getting bad at this point. Um, Again, it would still come and go, but when it came along, it was just really intense. I started calling them episodes to kind of cope with the episodes I was having. I would lay down, my mom or my grandmother would put my feet up on pillows, and so I would have my feet raised. Uh, I, I did take, at this point in time, I did start taking Advil, or sometimes I would also take Aleve. Um, it wouldn't really help that much. It would help a little bit, but for the most part, it didn't really take much of the pain away. So I still had to deal with the pain, but I was taking those pills constantly at this point, like every day, and eventually my body kind of got used to the pills and immune to them, so I wasn't able eventually to use them anymore because it wouldn't work at all. Now, third year in, I graduated high school and I went into college. Still, like, some days I did have to go home or I didn't show up to class because it was just too much, and it was kind of the same ordeal as the previous year. So from I want to say second to third year, nothing really changed. It was just I was having those episodes of pain where it felt like somebody was like punching me in the back or taking my spine and kind of like twisting it. Now, the fourth and fifth year is when my pain really, really got bad. The fourth year is when I started noticing another change in the pain. At this point, it was consistent. It was every day and it didn't go away. It was staying kind of the same, and eventually it wasn't just episodes. It was just constant pain, but there were also still moments of like sometimes the pain would be a little better and then other times it would be really, really bad. Now, when the pain got really, really bad, I started to notice that not only was I feeling the pain in the lower back, but it was resonating through like my hips, the back of my legs, my toes, and the pain kind of like resonated all throughout. And it kind of felt like if you ran a marathon and the next day you were super, super sore, take that and times it by like 100. It was that intense to where sometimes I wouldn't even be able to really walk that much. So I would walk short distances and just have to stop completely and like not go anymore. Some days I again would just stay in bed, and this is just the fourth year. By then it was pretty bad to where it was getting a bit too much to deal with. And at this point, I wasn't taking any medication, so I was kind of dealing with the pain on my own. Just cold turkey, nothing, no pain meds, no Advil, no Aleve, just cold turkey, dealing with it. And at this point, when I would have these moments where it would be worse than other times, I started getting this habit of when the pain would get worse, I would kind of like squeeze my hands and kind of with my nails um, dig into my palm and kind of have like pain from that, and that pain from me squeezing my hands would distract me from the pain I was having in my back and my legs. And also sometimes when it was starting, I would like rub my legs, rub my thighs. Those were two things I kind of started doing. Now by the fifth year was the worst year by far. By the fifth year, it was again with the episodes and moments of pain that was unbelievable. Um, and sometimes, again, not being able to get out of bed, not being able to walk very far. But again, there was a change that I noticed. And that change was my legs. It would be separate parts of my legs, not like my legs as a whole. It would be either my thighs or it would be my calves or my feet sometimes would actually go numb. And that was really scary because I didn't know what was happening. I thought, I was losing my ability to be mobile. Um, so that was really frightening for me when it would happen. It would happen at random times where I wouldn't be able to feel parts of my legs or my feet. And then eventually, as that year went on, it started getting into my arms and my hands. My hands would cramp up, my fingers would get numb, my forearms would get numb at random moments, and it was very, very nerve-wracking. It was very traumatic for me to experience. Kind of my body was like going against itself. So eventually, it was April of 2017. I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was in class in college, and I started having a really, really bad episode. And my legs, in the back of my legs, I started feeling this shooting, piercing pain, like somebody was stabbing me in the backs of my thighs. And it resonated from my lower back all the way down to my heels in the backs of my legs, to the backs of my calves, the backs of my thighs, back of my heels. Just this really, really bad, like stinging, stabbing feeling. So I excused myself from class. I went to the bathroom, and I went into the stall, and I was trying to breathe through it and trying to collect myself to get back to class. But instead of it getting better, it was getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I called my mom. When she picked me up, took me home, we called my neurosurgeon. And by this time, I was crying in tears, just in so much pain. I couldn't really move my legs. I couldn't really lift my arms. Like it was really, really bad. My mom was on the phone with my doctors, and they told her that they can give me an appointment to go see the neurosurgeon in a couple of days. And I said to my mom, I can't wait that long. I need something done right now. So we hung up the phone, and my mom took me to the emergency room. And that is where everything kind of unfolded from there. and I will get into that in more detail on my next video. Now, on a better, happier note, I do want to say thank you so much to the people who viewed, commented, liked, shared my first video on this channel last week. The support, it was unbelievable. It was amazing. It was so encouraging to me. I felt so supported, and I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to all who also subscribe to my channel. It just makes me so happy that I can reach you guys, and some of you can relate, and some of you feel like you're not alone. Some of you have closure. The fact that I can give that is amazing to me. That's all I wanted, was to show all of you that you're not alone in this experience, even though we go through different things, because not everybody's situation is the same. I'm glad that I can give others closure, and I'm glad that I can give you support, and thank you so much for supporting me as well. Also, if you didn't notice, my background, Spina Bifida Guide to Hope, I have written here. Let me get the camera. So this amazing creation was drawn by my little sister. It was her idea to do this, and I really, really appreciate it. I think it's beautiful. It has the daisy, which is the symbol of spina bifida. It has the spina bifida ribbon, and it also has the spine with the different sections of the spine. I think it's just so creative, and thank you so much, little sis. I appreciate it. And also my mother's beautiful handwriting. She is the one who wrote all the things for the spine, the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral region of the spine, and she is the one who wrote Spina Bifida Guides to Hope. I love her writing. All around, the whole thing is beautiful. The drawings, the writing, everything, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you, Mom, and thank you, Sis, for creating this beautiful piece of art. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like, comment, and share this video. I appreciate all of you who have shown me such support. Thank you so much again. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you next week. Bye.